tie a victim down over a bed of sharpened shoots and
they
just
just
let it do
roll.
its thing.
Oh!
At first, it would just feel like uncomfortable.
Oh yeah! Hello everyone, my name is Zerionics, and today we'll be watching some low poly shorts on TikTok. We're going to be starting from the most popular videos to the very bottom and see what we come across.
Giant sunfish at an aquarium suddenly stopped eating for seemingly no reason. It just floated around, rubbing against the glass.
I've heard of
like
this
something was
sunfish
wrong.
before.
The staff checked if it was sick.
Like, the sunfish literally just swims around. Like, their brain's so small that they don't even know what's happening. Can't even feel pain.
But found nothing. That's until one of them noticed something strange. The sunfish only started acting like this after the aquarium closed for renovations, when no one was coming to see it anymore. This meant it wasn't sick. It was just lonely. So the staff printed photos of people's faces, stuck them on
so
uniforms,
creepy.
and placed them in front of the tank.
That
The
is so
next day,
creepy.
The sunfish started waving its fins like it was happy to see them, and eating like never before.
That sunfish looks so stupid.
They cut a hole into the side of a healthy cow and fit a plastic ring with a lid into the opening, making
I've seen this
permanent
already.
window into its stomach. Once it heals, vets can open the
Yeah,
lid
they
and reach
feed
their
the
entire arm
bacteria to the
inside.
cow.
You see, the mush inside is actually a gold mine of healthy bacteria.
Yeah.
Knowing this, they would pull it out and feed it to a sick cow that's having trouble digesting food. This jumpstarts the sick cow's digestive system, saving its life. They cut
Interesting. Can you imagine a cow just walks around with just a hole in the stomach? Just taking out the acid from its stomach? Ugh.
The cat would walk up to a patient's bed, jump onto their chest, and quietly curl up beside them. Hours later, that
looks
person
like my
would pass
grandma.
away. You see, this wasn't just any ordinary cat. This was Oscar, a therapy cat at a nursing home with a special ability. For reasons no one fully understands, Oscar seemed to know when someone was about to pass away. If someone still had time, Oscar would just sniff around and leave. But if he decided to stay by your side, they knew it was over for them. And it wasn't just a one-off thing. He did it again and again, accurately predicting more than 50 passings. Some people think he could smell chemical changes in the body right before passing away, but no one really knows how he did it.
So this is just a cat that can tell when you're about to... Wait, I'm looking at the comments. How Oscar was moving. Your time is running out.
They took hundreds of thousands of brain cells from humans and mice and placed them in a petri dish. They then wired those neurons to a computer running a simple version of Pong.
I've seen something like this
they
before.
wanted to prove that even without a body,
But they put like
brain
a
cells
chip
could learn
inside
from
someone's brain.
mistakes and solve problems. They received tiny signals telling them exactly where the ball was. If the neurons hit it, the system rewarded them with a clear signal they liked. But if they missed, the neurons were blasted with random noise they didn't like. It wasn't long before the neurons started to learn. In fact, this biological intelligence figured out the game faster than AIs trained the same way. They took
Ooh. I heard he has about 100 million, neurons? I don't remember, because it was 100 million something. It was able to just to learn basic functions of the game, but yeah.
As he was talking to the press, people at home started noticing that something was off. Next to the officers, a woman moved her hands as if doing sign language. At first, everyone assumed she was an official interpreter, but viewers noticed her movements were getting more and more ridiculous. They quickly realized she was literally making things up as she went. Turns out, some random woman had just walked into the conference, said she was there to interpret for no reason.
So it's just a
let her
random
in,
person,
no questions asked.
just
It
doing
was only later that people discovered she had a long criminal record of fraud. As he was talking to the press,
criminal fraud? For what? Help, why did she suddenly dance? Weird ass person, bro.
if you tape half a ping pong ball over each of your eyes, shine a red light on your face, and then play static for a few minutes, you will lose your mind. You see, this setup blocks out anything from the outside, overwhelming your senses and putting you in a state where your brain actually panics so much from the lack of information that it would start making stuff up. Your mind would try filling in the void with random images, hallucinations,
that's a cow
like
we saw
horses in the
earlier.
clouds, or hearing voices in your head.
Oh.
If you tape
Oh
half a
my
ping pong
god, that's very creepy.
They would take a spinach leaf and soak it in a special detergent to strip away its plant cells. This solution dissolves all of the green plant matter, leaving only a clear cellulose skeleton behind. They then injected this clear leaf with the cells of a human heart.
They do
You
resemble
see, the veins in spinach
yeah,
are
of a
nearly
heart.
identical to human blood vessels. So once the cells latched on, they began to contract in unison, causing the leaf to beat just like living heart tissue. This could eventually allow doctors to use plant-based patches to regenerate human organs.
How does that even work, man? Like, I'm not a doctor, surgeon, or whatever. I just don't see how that works, but okay.
As soldiers fought across the battlefield,
Oh,
a
something
massive
different.
200-pound bear marched by their side.
Why
standing out
is
as
there
the
a
most powerful soldier?
200-pound
See,
bear?
A group of Polish soldiers had rescued him as a
Okay,
tiny
wait.
pup, raised him as one of their own. He
Okay,
drank
that
milk
makes
from a
sense.
vodka bottle, slept in their tents, wrestled with them, saluted when greeted, marched alongside them on his hind legs, drank beer,
What?
and even smoked and ate cigarettes. But when the army moved to a new front, animals weren't allowed on board, so they had to officially enlist him as a private, with a serial number and a salary just to bring him in. On the battlefield, he carried crates of artillery shells that would normally take 4 men to lift. They didn't even teach him that. He just liked to copy what they were doing. The Allies would win the battle that day. This earned him a promotion from private to corporal. And after the war, he retired to a zoo, visited by the soldiers who had fought beside him. As soldiers
You don't want to mess with Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie, man. That beer is something I am scared of. That beer is something else.
They would take a flap of skin from the patient's
Oh!
arm and stitch it directly onto their mangled nose while it was still attached to
Why?
their arm. They would
What
then
the
force the
fuck?
patient into a rigid leather harness that locked their arm against their face for weeks. You see, if they were to cut the skin off the arm before putting it on the nose,
It would just
quickly
rot.
decay and fall
Yeah.
off because there's no blood going into it. By keeping the arm attached, the arm's blood supply kept the skin alive until it latched on and grew its own vessels. So by the time
That
they
is
cut the
disturbing.
connection, they ended up with a brand new nose made from their own arm. They would take
I assume that's true? I have no idea. Wouldn't the nose become hairy? That is true. It does have the cells inside that can produce hair, but I don't know.
She died over 70 years ago, but her flesh is still alive and has been growing non-stop ever since. You see, she went
The
to the
hell?
hospital in 1951 because she felt a painful
1951?
lump inside her. Doctors detected she had a tumor
Oh,
and
his
secretly
neck.
sliced off a piece to study it. But when they put it in a petri dish, they stumbled upon a 1 in a million miracle. Instead of withering away after a few days like normal tissue, her cells kept dividing every day, effectively growing forever. Knowing this, they quickly took chunks of the
That
tumor as it grew
is
and shipped its cells to
weird.
every major lab
Why?
on the planet for testing. So if you took all the flesh that ever came from her, past and present, it would be as massive as one of the pyramids.
What? How the fuck is this physically possible? Yeah, so it can solve world hunger. This is real. Her name is, I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce that. Her story is very important. The highest level of idiotic people are the ones who think typing counts and screaming. Okay, bro, let's move on.
He went into the back kitchen with a clear goal in mind. He
Burger
stepped into
King?
2 plastic tubs filled with shredded lettuce and had his coworker snap a photo of his shoes buried in it, just for fun. He then uploaded that exact
Wait, I
photo
know
online
this.
with the caption,
This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King.
but what he didn't realize was that the picture he posted had the location he worked at embedded in its metadata.
Oh
People
my
tracked the
God.
exact restaurant within minutes. They then contacted the authorities, and the restaurant fired the employee immediately.
Yo, yeah. It was this guy. It was this guy. I've seen this before. This was funny. I don't know why he did it. I guess he just hated Burger King, but yeah.
He chopped the head off the chicken, thinking it
Oh!
would be his next dinner. But the moment the axe fell, the chicken kept moving and even tried to peck at food.
Oh, this is
Hours
true.
passed,
Sometimes
then days, then weeks,
you can just cut off a chicken's head and they'll still be moving. Literally headless chickens.
then months, and it was still alive.
Pretty
It
true,
was fed
yeah.
with an eyedropper every day, and people came from all over just to see the headless chicken walk around the farm like nothing had happened.
Definitely
But
dead,
turns out, the axe missed most of the chicken's brainstem, so its body just kept running on autopilot. And against all odds, it lived for a year and a half.
That's actually
before finally
impressive.
choking on its mucus in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. He chopped the
That is pretty true. It survived but died on choking. Animals aren't toys. Man, sad stuff. Oh my god, there's a actual picture of a headless chicken. I'm not even going to bother showing that, but it does look like it was from that story.
A man was executed for his crimes, but his friends didn't want his body to be dissected, so they whipped up a plan to steal the body on its way to the doctor
Why?
and bring it back through a river. However, the surgeon already knew about their plan ahead of time and secretly moved the body in a taxi at night. But during the dissection, the surgeon didn't throw away the skin like they usually would. Instead, he tanned it just like leather and used it to bind the papers about the criminal's trial, creating a book wrapped in the criminal's own skin that sits in a museum to this day.
Oh, dude, that is disgusting. Bro, no wonder the friends wanted to take the body. Yo, back then, people are hella weird when it comes to these stuff. Taking someone's skin, putting it into some, like, thing is disgusting.
Her psychologist poured drain cleaner right into her eyes, and after the burning
What?
stopped, she couldn't see anything. But it wasn't an accident. She
A
wanted it
drain
to happen,
cleaner?
because to her, sight was the problem. You see, she had dreamed of being blind her entire life. In fact, she
Don't
thought she
tell
was
me.
meant to be blind. Doctors
Oh
said
my
her eyes
God.
were healthy, but her mind disagreed because she had a rare condition that makes someone's brain refuse to accept a part of its own body.
That
Most
is
people with
creepy.
it feel like their limbs don't belong.
Oh!
But she felt that way about her vision. She would pretend to be blind for years, using dark glasses, walking with a cane, and even learning Braille. But at one point, she felt like she didn't have a choice but to make herself blind. Her psychologist poured drain
Psychologist poured that crap on her. Oh my god. Why? It's just so weird, man.
He put on special glasses that would make him see the world upside down to see what would happen to his brain if he didn't take them off for 124
Oh my
days.
god, that
At
sounds
first, he was
like a
helpless,
horrible idea.
constantly tripping over
Oh!
lights that appeared to be on the floor and reaching for cups that weren't there. But by the
How do
third
you,
month,
like,
his brain had
what?
adapted and flipped the image back up so well that he could actually ride a motorcycle without crashing. But when he finally took the
Oh,
glasses
yeah.
off, the real world still looked upside down for him
Oh,
for a few
no.
minutes. So if you feed your brain a lie long enough, it eventually becomes your reality. He put on special
Interesting, I guess. So if I tell my brain I'm a billionaire, will it become my reality? So if you feed your brain a lie long enough, it becomes reality. Yeah.
They would put the nuclear launch codes inside a capsule and then implant that capsule right next to the heart of a volunteer.
That's
That
humane,
person
but
would be
okay.
given a lifetime salary to walk alongside the president while carrying a butcher knife. If the time
That
ever came
is
to fire
so-
the missile, the president wouldn't turn a key or push a button. Instead, he would have to kill the volunteer with his own hands to retrieve the codes. The idea was to force the leader to feel the weight of one innocent life before taking millions.
Wow. Just create a horror game already. I assume that's the low poly shorts. Great idea, actually. Imagine your job is being a more dilemma. Alright, bro.
They took the DNA of a spider and microscopically injected it into the embryo of a goat. That modified embryo was then placed into a surrogate mother, where it developed
Interesting.
just like any normal goat. You see, scientists needed to find a way to harvest spider silk, which is as strong as steel. But they couldn't farm the spiders themselves because they would end up taking each other out. So they genetically
Okay.
engineered goats to carry the spider's
So it's just
silk-producing
nuts
gene. Their
every
milk would
time?
come out
Oh,
with
that
the
is
same
pure nut.
proteins as spider silk, where they would
That is
then be
pure nut.
collected, purified, and spun into
Purified
a
as
strong,
well.
lightweight fiber.
Ugh. Okay, I don't want to think about that too much.
As scientists were drilling 100
Ooh,
feet into
okay.
the Siberian permafrost, they
Ooh,
suddenly hit
this
a
is
layer of
interesting.
ice that hadn't seen the sun in 30,000 years. Inside that frozen tomb, they discovered an ancient virus bigger than any other virus in the world.
Oh,
when
God.
they warmed it up in the lab, it woke up from its
Oh,
300
God.
century-long nap,
Oh,
and it
God.
immediately began to hunt and infect the microscopic
Oh,
amoeba
God.
nearby. Luckily, it didn't infect humans or animals, but we don't know what else could be hiding under there.
Why can't we just leave shit alone, bro? Damn, what the fuck can it infect? Yeah, just leave it alone. Scientists are crazy, man. Oh my god, COVID was like a fever dream. I can't believe that was like 6 years ago.
As Michael Jackson was getting ready to step on stage, the crew was busy setting the pyrotechnics that were supposed to go off safely behind him. But when he walked toward his mark, the effect suddenly triggered too soon, exploding on top of him before he was anywhere near ready. The blast sent a shower of sparks straight into his head, but he kept performing without realizing he was on fire. By the time the
Oh my
flames
God.
reached his scalp and people rushed over, the burns were already too severe,
Oh
leaving him with
my
a permanent bald
God.
spot that never healed properly and had to be covered with wigs and extensions until the day he passed away. As Michael Jackson
Is
was
that
getting ready to
true?
step on stage,
Wait, I never knew about that. You had to wear a wig?
stalks of bamboo would burst out of your body within days.
That
Bamboo
looks
can grow up to
brutal.
4 feet in just 24 hours and break through solid concrete along the way.
Wow.
Knowing this, executioners would tie a victim down over a bed of sharpened shoots and
they
let
just
it do
roll.
its thing.
Oh!
At first, it would just feel like uncomfortable
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
on their back. But since the plant is desperate to reach the
Yeah,
sunlight
it
above,
needs-
pushes upward with enough force to break the skin and start burrowing into the body. A couple
Oh.
of days later, and the stalks push
Oh.
their way through their organs, eventually growing straight out the other side while the victim is still alive.
That's like worse than death, bro.
She put industrial glue in her hair instead of styling gel, and it hardened into a permanent plastic helmet so stiff it was about to tear the skin right off
Oh.
her skull. You see, she had run out of her usual hairspray and needed her hair to stay flat, so she applied Gorilla Glue, which is meant for wood and
Why? Nah, that's actually stupid. Nah, that's actually dumb. Why?
metal. She thought it would just hold her hair for a few hours, but
No.
unbeknownst to her, the glue was so strong that her hair fused into a solid mass that didn't move for over a month and gave her severe headaches and burns. She tried everything, but in the end, she had to fly across the country to a plastic surgeon who had to use special chemicals to finally dissolve the glue.
Wow, she had to fly over. Holy shit. Oh my god, this was her. Yo, why does she look like a demon, bro? Why would you do that? I can see the craziness in her eyes, bro.
David Vedder was no ordinary boy. He was born with a rare condition that left him without an immune system, which meant even the smallest germ in the air could be deadly. To
Wow.
keep him safe, doctors built a sealed plastic chamber where he spent most of his life. Inside, he had toys,
That's
a
so
bed,
sad.
even a TV, all sterilized, but he could never hug his mom or touch the outside
Oh.
world. Any physical contact he had was through the gloves attached to the chamber. NASA even built him a special suit so he could
NASA,
walk
okay.
and play outside, but he
Okay.
only used it 6 times. A bone marrow transplant gave him hope of living like a normal boy. But hidden inside the donor's marrow was an undetected virus. And with no way to defend it, the virus spread quickly, causing
And killed
hundreds
him.
of tumors.
Yeah.
He spent his last days with family outside the bubble, finally free for the first time. He passed away at just 12 years old. David
That is so sad. Apparently, this is based on a true story. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that is so sad. This is so much better than those ugly looking AI slop stories. Yeah, it is. That's why I'm watching low poly shorts. Okay, you know what? We're gonna leave it there. That was hella sad. Oh my god. We're definitely going to leave it there. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I should watch next. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care and peace.